let's start today's session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you watching this video, depending on what time you are watching this. Welcome to another session of a video on the operations management class. Today we are going to talk about the total quality management. Last time we have talked about design of the product and service. So today we are going to talk about not only that, but how the quality sees that in a product or service. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome everyone to my video session. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on the time you watch this video. Today we are going to talk about the total quality management, or in short, we call it TQM. Why we talk about it? Before we have already talked about product and service design. This is an emphasis on the quality and why we need to make product at a certain quality level. Yeah. So first of all, we need to know the condition. When creating a product, a company really must think about how they can make the best out of it. Yeah. At a certain level of quality. This is due to the fact that company has limited resources. Yeah. So these limited resources, you need to put it at a maximum by creating the best product out of the limited resources. Yeah. A company might have a lot of money, but they don't know where to put their product, how to make their product really good, for example. Yeah. And how to sell. That is really hard to do. Yeah. So in order to create a high quality product or service, doesn't mean that a cheap product can have a low quality, doesn't mean that really high priced products at this point have a better quality than the cheaper ones. Yeah, so it just means that the company can produce it at their best resources. Yeah, so in order to do that, we must first understand the life cycle of a product and how the product or service is made. Yeah. When we talk about the company's requirements, products or services need to be created not only to satisfy customers, yeah, but also we look at the company's capabilities. We think about company capabilities. Are we able to make a certain product at a certain quality? Yeah, that is the question here. Because if you only see the through the customer's eyes, they just want the best. Yeah, but can we deliver it? I mean, like for example, if you are selling a really high quality product, yeah, which customers love high quality products, but is it economical to produce? Yeah, or they expect something, they expect a really high price product, might have a really high quality, but again, yeah, can the company deliver it? Yeah, so it really depends on two sides, yeah, so the customer side and the company side. Just like our life, product or service has a life cycle, yeah. Our life starts with when we are born, and then we grow up. After that, we become an adult and become old and die. This is a normal life cycle. And for product life cycle, we have also 4 phases. First of all, introduction, where the product is born. Yeah. If you are the first in your industry to do something, yeah, usually when the product is born, it becomes the inspiration for other company. Yeah, they will try to make a product, yeah, just like yours, because maybe when you introduce it to the market, it becomes very well received by the customers. Yeah, so when creating a product at an introduction stage, competition is usually low, still low. Yeah, And in the growth in the growth period or growth phase, yeah, this is when your product is gaining acceptance among the customer. Yeah, so the customer loves it, and then you continue making it, and then it becomes very profitable at this time until it reaches the maturity. Where does it happen? Where does the maturity happens? Maturity is when your sales is at its maximum. Yeah. The level of profitability cannot reach more than this point. Yeah. At this point, when it tries to be maximum, it goes down. Yeah. Slow down a bit, and then it goes to the next phase, which is decline. Yeah. Decline is when the demand of your product have diminished or decrease. Yeah. This is due to introduction of a newer, more innovative product. Nowadays, as we can see, product life cycle is getting shorter. This is becoming a challenging time for everyone, yeah, in the operations as well as marketing department, because then at such a short period, you have to create like a new product again, or how to make your product better, yeah. And the competition is intense that really, when you think about it, improvement happens every day. This is product life cycle. Yeah. When we are talking about TQM, we cannot leave the product life cycle as well as the organizational objective. Yeah. TQM has a basic principle that all the improvements can be made everywhere in the department, anywhere, anytime. Yeah. So the TQM policy or method really looks at deeper at each of the stages or each of the department, yeah, whether it's organizational practices, yeah, the leadership, your mission statement, yeah, your procedures, yeah, training, etc. That has to be excellent first, and then what needs to be excellent is your quality principles, what you are doing to your company so that you can produce a really good product. And then we put it down again to the employee fulfillment, whether your employees are doing it right, whether they need training or not. Yeah, this is happening anywhere. Yeah, on your organization, on the product itself, on the employee, as well as the customer. Yeah, so the last one is the customer. This is the goal of every company. Yeah, they want to satisfy their customers so that they become loyal, they love your product, so they will repurchase in the future. An effective organization with a competitive advantage is the objective here. So when we are talking about TQM approach, yeah, one of the approaches that is used a lot of time is quality function deployment. Quality function deployment, or we usually call it house of quality. Why is it called a house? Because it resembles a house. On top, because on top we have like triangle, and then at the bottom of the triangle we have a rectangle, and then like this is where all the specification of your products are then met with a certain standards of quality. Yeah. So when we are trying to say quality function deployment, what does it do? It combines between customers' expectation and then the capability of the company in delivering an acceptable product or service. Yeah. Since this method is flexible, you can put it you can describe both the product and the service design into it. Yeah, so you can combine it. What do we do for when we are talking about the quality function deployment? There are some steps. Yeah, 7 steps. First, you need to identify what the customer wants. Now, of course, And then we identify how goods or service will satisfy customer. Yeah. For example, if you are an automotive industry company, yeah, your customer wants to buy a car from you, yeah, and then we listen to what customers want. They want to have like eco-friendly car, the car that can go very far with a low petrol, yeah, needs. And then they want to have like a car that is reliable, not requiring service all the time, yeah, and they don't break. And then after that, you relate what the customer wants and how you can deliver that. Fourth, identify relationship between the firm's house. Yeah. So customer wants a car, and then they want a car to have specific feature or attributes. So how does your firm or how does your company realize that, make that into reality? Yeah, by combining your customer wants with the company's capability. Yeah, this is identify relationship between the firm's house. And number 5, we develop importance rating. We need to know that some rating of importance is higher than the other. Yeah, for example, if you build a car, safety and comfortable, which one has a more or higher important rating? Yeah, some of your customer might think that safety is number 1. Some of your customer might think that comfort is number 1. Yeah, how can you compromise each? Yeah, how can you put it each in a certain level? Yeah, okay, your company says we are going to focus on safety. Yeah, safety first and then comfort. So therefore, your company have this rating of importance higher in the safety aspects. And then after that, we need to evaluate competing products. You know, if your product has already been done with by the competition, yeah, or other products, there is other product that is like that, yeah, another car maybe. So you need to evaluate that product, yeah, to build your own product. Yeah, so there are your customer, your competitor is in this quality function deployment. What do the other company put in their importance rating? Yeah, are they putting safety at first, or are they putting the comfort at first? Yeah, you have to evaluate and then determine desirable attributes. Yeah, and then you can choose, yeah, whether it should be a safety, or whether it should be comfort, whether it should be speed or machine choices, yeah, for your car company. The way you see quality, we have to think about how it can improve the profitability, yeah, because objective of many companies, yeah, they want to make profit, yeah, and then how does making a good quality product increase your profitability? There are 2 ways. Yeah, quality can increase profitability by increasing sales because your company has a good reputation. Yeah, for example, if your automotive industry company is very good at safety, yeah, your company has a reputation for safety, then they will buy your product because of that reason. Yeah. Secondly, it reduces the cost by minimizing errors, increase productivity, and lowering rework or scrap costs. Yeah. When we are making cars, we need to make sure that it has a minimum errors, you know, when we are creating it. For example, we do not want to repaint 2 times, yeah, or if the car is not checked, yeah, in the quality control. You have to repeat it. You have to send it back to the office. Yeah, your customer complain. Yeah, so they want a refund, things like that. Yeah, that is costly for the company. Therefore, when you have a good quality product, that type of error, that type of complaint will be very low. And this is how you can improve quality and increasing profit. When a product or service is not, yeah, the cost of doing it, we have a cost. Yeah, we say, let's say if your car is not comfortable enough, it's not safety enough. Yeah, some of these costs is going to be uh, supported by the customer or by your own company. Yeah. For example, we call this a cost of quality. So the cost of quality, basically, when you make a bad quality product, your customer doesn't like it, they want to return it, things like that, and therefore uh, you get another expense. Yeah. All right. There are 4 costs of quality. Yeah. First of all is the prevention cost, and then the second is appraisal cost. You know, when an inspector check your product and your product is not at a certain level of quality, they have to uh, send it back to the design board, for example. And then the third one is internal failure costs, costs that result from production of defective part or surface. Yeah. When you are in the internal failure cost, the cost is still being supported by the company. Yeah. In internal failure. But when it is number 4, or external failure cost, is cost that occurs after you send the product to your customer. Yeah. So when we are talking about customer, we can just think about car, yeah, or motorcycle, or anything, yeah, with to do with product. Yeah. If your product is not good, if your product is complex, very complex to make, then this cost might come to you, yeah, as the result of not designing it good, not inspecting it, yeah, not making sure it is out of a really good quality. Yeah, this can happen. Maybe you have heard about the Lion Air Flight 610 or the Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. Yeah, both of the accident or incidents, yeah, were caused by same aircraft. Yeah, same aircraft that is new to the market. At that time, 737 MAX was a new aircraft, but there is a fraud in their business. Yeah. So the lead training pilot didn't tell the Boeing authority that their their design flaws can cause fatal crash. Yeah. So when the cost of quality compromise, yeah, what happens is the head pilot didn't tell about this design, because when you are going to repair for the design, it costs $1 million in training. Yeah. So just because of avoiding $1 million training, it results in tragedies. Yeah. This tragedy killed 346 people, and the company has to pay more than $20 billion as a result of this. Yeah. So can you imagine, just because you avoid quality contract of $1 million, you lose $20 billion more. Yeah. If the head pilot was then maybe like just put $1 million of training for this, yeah, we wouldn't have this cost of $20 billion or 346 people die in the airplane crash, yeah. This is a very big issue. After that, 737 MAX was grounded, yeah. They cannot fly in more than 20 months or so, yeah. 737 MAX. See, what happens is really fatal. Yeah. We cannot compromise with technology. We cannot compromise with safety. Yeah. Everything needs to be in perfect condition, especially if you are selling something um, that is very expensive, like this aircraft, yeah, or a car, yeah, or a house, yeah. You might buy a house very cheap, but once you live in it, yeah, the house started like the paint is going off, yeah, the roof is leaking, and then everything just falls apart. You don't want that, right? Same as this one, yeah, same as when you are making an aircraft. So in the principle, there are 14 points of implementing quality improvement to a product. Yeah, this is what we usually call the Deming. Deming is a researcher who makes these points of implementing quality improvement. Yeah, you can see that from the table 6.2, where the first one is create consistency, lead to promote change, build quality into product, long-term relationship. Yeah, so quality is both qualitative and quantitative issue. Yeah, this is the Deming's 14 points is more like the qualitative issue, but there are also some quantitative approach in it. Yeah, especially if you are in a product, because you cannot really complain about what is it? You cannot make statistic on surface. Yeah. Now, these are another TQM techniques that you must know. We have procedural. Yeah, the first one is plan, do, check, act. This is like a management phases. Yeah, we call it Schuhart or Deming circle. Plan, do, check, act. Go back again. Plan, do, check, and then act again. Or Six Sigma. Yeah, production process or service with extremely high capability. So when you are producing something, producing a product, yeah, your accuracy is 99.9997%, where the 0.1% is the error, yeah, or the error should not exist, even just a little bit. Yeah. Six Sigma improvement model is known as the MAIC, yeah, which stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Apart from the procedural focus, we have also people-focused TQM techniques. Yeah. First, we have employee empowerment. Yeah, enlarging job. So the responsibility is moved down. Yeah. So now your lowest level in organization even has a responsibility. Yeah, a high responsibility. And we can also make a quality circle where group of employees meet regularly to solve work-related problems. Another TQM technique that we see here is the benchmarking. The benchmarking is when you are setting a standard for something that is excellent to your own standard. Yeah, whether your product is already excellent or not, you put a benchmark in it. Yeah. Determine what to benchmark, form a benchmark team, identify partners, collect and analyze benchmarking information, and take action to match the benchmark. These are the steps in developing benchmark. Yeah, what to benchmark? Just the quality or the features of the products. Yeah, for example, okay, the best in class is for the car. Yeah, for a compact car, for example, is from our competitor. Yeah, what can we do to make our product has same quality or even more quality than the competitor car, for example? Then you benchmark your car with the competitor's car, whether your benchmark is better or it can be improved. Yeah, that's what you do in here. Yeah. Or if you are a very what is it? If you are in a transport company, if you are in logistical company, yeah, you can use just in time. Yeah, just in time is when you are shipping or importing materials, the time when you need it. Yeah, so you cut cost, quality by reducing inventory, improve quality because you reduce lead time and limit the number of potential error. Yeah, because you don't have inventory, and then you can have limited error and then less inventory because the system now is easier. You don't have to look around. Yeah, where are my stuff? Yeah, where did I put this? Where do I put that? Yeah, you just think that, okay, I just focus on the next demand. Yeah, the next demand, I have to do it in the highest quality possible. So I focus on that only. Yeah, for the later demand will be you will think about it later. Yeah. This is just in time. And we also have Taguchi model. Taguchi model is an engineering approach, yeah, to product design, where he believes that when we are creating a product, we still have like errors, yeah. He calls it a loss or non-profitability, yeah. But it goes to a point where you have the robust design. Yeah, robust design means this is the best design which minimize the loss you create, yeah, because you make a new product. That's why it looks like what is it? Yeah, when you lower the error, the dollar you lost or the money or the value that you lost is less and less. A statistical process. This is very quantitative, but I think you should know the theory because this is a really good way to explain how you can improve your product quality. Yeah, maybe here when you create new product, it is still having many errors. Yeah, and then as the time goes, the error can be eliminated. Yeah, that's why, for example, when you are buying a new car or a new motorcycle, the first people to buy it are usually complain about the quality, complain about stuff. Yeah, they already make it better. That's why we want to wait for like maybe 3 months after the introduction to see whether the car or the motorcycle is really good or not. Yeah. Another tools that we use for TQM are the 7 tools, yeah, that you have to know. First, we have divided the tools into 3 categories. Yeah, tools for generating ideas, for organizing data, and identifying problems. Yeah, the first one for generating ideas. Then we have scatter diagram, and we have cause and effect diagram, which we also call the fishbone diagram. The second one is tools for organizing the data. We have Pareto chart, a graph that identify and plots problem or defect. And then we have the flow chart or process diagram, a chart which explains step in a process. Yeah. You can explain, for example, your service process, using the flow chart. Or tools for identifying problem, we have histogram, we see that the distribution of times and the frequency of something happen. Yeah. When repair happens too many times, it means you have problem. Yeah. That is why we use histogram. And then we have also statistical process control chart, or SPC. Yeah, these are the 7 tools of TQM. Yeah. So TQM approach is a whole approach within the organization. Yeah. So it involves the organization itself, the management, the people, yeah, the customer, the competitor, everyone is responsible for making the TQM method, yeah, to a certain level, yeah, to a maximum use. Therefore, you cannot just pick one of these tools. You have to really look at your problem and try to solve it using different approaches. Yeah, maybe from the design approach, maybe from the marketing approach, operations approach, or the human resource approach, anything, yeah, to make your TQM success. Therefore, success of your product or service depends on how you can improve in every steps of the way, from the design process until it is delivered to the customer, until your product is delivered to the customer. And that is the end of the lesson today. Thank you, class, for listening. Hope you learned something, and see you again in the next video.